This meeting is called to order at 6:31 p.m. on Monday, June 26, 2017. Move to accept the minutes of last week's meeting as written.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes from last week are accepted. Okay, we've done payroll, vendors, correspondence. Okay, we have a notice of a meeting. Town of Troy Joint Loss Committee will meet on June 26, 2017. I'm sorry, that's today's date. The meeting is July 11th, 2017, 9 a.m. here. Alissa and I are on that committee, and Jim, you're on it? Okay, anybody else? Nope, okay. We have a quote from Bruce Summers for some computer work. Do we need to do anything with this?
They are switching over all their email servers,
Yeah.
and we are the last ones on the old system.
Okay,
And this is something he was working with Tom
Yeah.
to get us switched over. We have to do something, so we either switch to the Office 365 or we find a different solution.
okay, fine. Does this mean that we will get email addresses for the selectmen here?
You can add as many.
I would like to. Right now, what I've been doing is every time I get any email that pertains to town business, I forward a copy of it to you.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be easier if each of us had our own email address to use for town business.
I can tell him that and have him get back to you and
Okay.
see it. There'll be an additional cost.
I think we need it. Any questions on that? Do we need to approve this, or are we good to go?
I'll talk to him because the price is going to change. So.
Okay.
Right, so
All
table
right.
it until we see.
Okay, let's see. Some of this we don't need. Last week, there was a issue raised about welfare and whether or not we could seek repayment from family members. And I said we could not, and Herb Drug said we could, and he was right. He sent me the link to the appropriate RSA that night, so I wrote to NHMA attorneys and said, is this for real? And they came back and said, oh yeah, and there is no case law that has ever challenged it. So there's also no case law that has ever upheld it. The question is, can we actually make it work? And maybe we can. So we're gonna try that. We haven't been trying that in the past. We'll give it a shot, and if it works, great. And if it doesn't, then we will have learned what doesn't work. Okay, we have there's a deed transferring ownership to the town of Troy from one of the properties we took by tax deed. We have a email from Chris Rushalou. I'll read it. After listening to the minutes and hearing about the culvert issues on South Street, I thought I would share with the Board of Selectmen the Fitzwilliam Highway policy on culverts located in personal driveways. If the board is interested in hearing our policy, please let me know, and I'll take the time to send you a little history and what the Fitzwilliam Highway Department does with personal driveway culverts. Jim, do you already know what their policy is?
Nope.
No? Then Alissa, would you respond to him and say, yes, we would like to get a copy of that? Okay, that's everything in the correspondence file. Under old business. If I can read it.
The first one's about our nuisance.
Richmond Road, waiting on
Yeah.
nuisance. We're still waiting on that?
Cy still has it. I talked to him this week.
Okay,
He hasn't.
Hopkins Smith, we're still waiting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nuisance ordinance, obviously, we're waiting. Job
Yep.
descriptions, Curtis, anything on that?
Nope.
Okay.
Not yet.
Forensic audit, Mr. Graham will be back on the 28th, that's Wednesday. And tomorrow, Alissa will spend the day upstairs with Mr. Dicey digging out records. Okay, so number 6, CDC, no smoking at the Samuel E. Paul Community Center. Do we have anything?
I forgot to ask
Further,
Bob about
okay.
that. If he
Where
got
is he?
over.
Is he out there?
He's out there. Bob!
Put him on the spot here. Did you contact James Scantz about the signs yet?
I haven't heard from him yet, no.
Okay. I was just wondering if we heard anything back. So that's nothing yet.
Okay.
I can call her and, are we just waiting on the signs? Is that what it is?
But I guess we're not gonna do. I guess last time we discussed it, we were looking at samples.
Mhm.
So if we can get some samples of what she can bring, and I don't know if we were gonna do a logo or anything like that.
I think we decided
We were
against
gonna make
that.
it simple
We
as
didn't want to
possible.
clutter it.
Yeah, so simple as possible, just some type of example so we can go through and
Alright,
pick yay or nay.
Yeah, I think the question was, did we want something put on there with Troy and a logo or something? If it's at the community center, everybody knows it's Troy. So I don't think we want to clutter it up.
What we want to do is get the message
Yeah,
across.
as simple as possible.
absolutely. Okay, I will talk to him.
All right,
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, number 7, mill tax bill. I think we can take that off the agenda for the
Actually, I
future.
got some information
On the
that.
tax bill?
On the mill in general,
Well, that's coming up later.
okay.
Okay, but the tax issue, that bill that we sent out, is a dead issue.
They didn't, well, this will actually caveat off of that,
Okay?
that if, instead of sending it to just the bankruptcy court, we should send it to everybody that's on that second sheet from Cy Little.
Yeah.
Elaine.
Just because in 2020, May of 2020, it's gonna be up that the town can actually take it for tax deeded purposes. And if we didn't send it to everybody that's on there, they can come back and say, well, we didn't know about it. So to kind of CYA us,
Why-
send it to everybody.
Why
And
would you send a
just
tax bill to a lien holder?
FY, just informational.
Okay.
So if later on, like I said, in May 2020, if there is any issues, they can't come back and say, well, because we are the third lien holder
Mhm.
as of right now. So if the other two come back and say, well, they didn't get any information or anything, they didn't know what was going on,
Yeah.
they can come back and there could be a potential issue.
All right, so we're not going to bill that. We're
Well,
just
no,
sending them
we
a
just-
copy of the bill that we sent to the
Correct.
bankruptcy court.
Correct.
Okay,
Just so everyone that's on that list is aware and they say, okay, it's not getting paid.
All right.
So when we do decide in 2020 to tax deed the property, there shouldn't be
Well,
any
we
issue.
don't know that we're going to
If
be
we're gonna
able.
do that.
Right.
But as of
because-
right now, this is the best course of action for that.
okay,
Okay.
makes sense.
And
Would you?
Herb Drug actually called me up and was talking about this, and he's got a lot more detail. And
Okay, would you please write this up as a memorandum for record,
okay,
so that we have it in the
Right.
file, so 3 years from now, when 3 other people are sitting here talking about it, they know what went on.
right, okay.
And Alissa, would you make copies of that tax bill and get them out to all the lien holders? Thank you. And also keep a record, a separate sheet showing what dates they were mailed to each one.
We'll just do them certified, we have record.
That'll work. Just so, again, 3 years down the road, when we finish with this process and everybody's sitting around wondering what was going on, everything will be documented for them.
Right.
Yeah.
Certified is perfect. Actually.
Yeah.
So then they can't say that they didn't get it.
Yep.
So that's it.
Okay, municipal resources, anything on that?
I have not heard back from Lisa about anything actually. Did she change the date for the that I sent an email about?
I'm not sure, I don't know.
And, oh, well, we're meeting next week, July 5th, I think it is.
Something
6th.
like that, yeah.
Next Thursday,
Third. Oh, I'm sorry, who's meeting? Planning
the
board?
budget committee.
Oh, okay, all right,
So we'll talk
all right,
about this and everything like that.
all right. Okay, second driveway on School Street,
Oh, I forgot to stop in.
that's tabled until after July
East
12th.
Coast time, yes.
Can
Okay,
I stop you right there for one
Sure.
second, please? Which house were you talking about?
Cindy's old one?
Okay, that's totally different, see, that's what I thought.
That's not Justin's. Justin's the one that's got he's got one load of material down there waiting on more, so he can finish his driveway, and then the other one will not be used anymore. The one that's down next to the last house on School Street.
Oh. When we
So
did the
you-
ride along, I thought you said that was the one that was doing the 2 driveways.
No, I said the one that you're talking about at Cindy's old place, that one never got nothing, they just did it.
Okay. So, alright, so I was wrong.
Alright.
So, now is that an issue because they went and put in another driveway on that one
Sure,
lot?
it's an issue.
So now we have to send a letter to them because you're only allowed 1 driveway per lot.
One cut.
right, and my understanding was that they were moving the driveway, in other words, they want to,
That was
No,
Deactivate this
no,
one?
no, this
Two
is a
different
different
properties.
house.
oh, okay.
2 different properties and it's,
Sheet of music upside down again.
yeah, it's, so yeah, we're gonna have to send a
Justin
letter.
came in with a permit and everything to do the driveway. The
I think
one
that's
on
the
there,
permit we went
up
over
next to
planning
left.
board.
Yeah, my bad.
We discussed.
So he,
Because Cindy's
the
on
first
other
issue,
side,
he
right?
did everything
Yeah,
correct.
Right next to the,
Okay.
right across.
The
from
second issue,
By the Catholic Church.
he
right
made a
across.
cut on his own.
They
Okay.
added another
and put
driveway.
in a driveway.
Gotcha.
No.
But Jimmy, how long ago about was that? I
It's
think,
been over a year, isn't it?
No,
We got about a year.
About a year.
Yeah.
And they put the carport on it
Yeah.
last fall.
No, this oh, yes, last fall.
okay, so neither issue was kosher.
I don't know if you've seen the other driveway now, but.
It's got a camper in it. There's campgrounds, I guess.
Plus trash that's all over the place.
In two driveways.
The
In
biggest
two,
driveways there, they got a camper parked there, it's all plugged in. I don't know if anybody's living in it or not, it kinda looks it, but.
well, in the summertime you can if you come in and get special.
I think they're living in the
You're allowed
garage
for
too.
6 months without a permit.
Right.
I don't know about that.
well, I don't know that that's our biggest issue.
No, the issue is a second driveway. That if we allow people just to come in and do whatever they want, that's going to open the door for everyone else to come in and do whatever they want.
Okay, now you have to think about this for a minute. If we have, who is the complainant here? We're not, is it that you saw it? It's like the nuisance ordinance. Are we going to start knocking on doors? If we do this to one, we have to follow through with everybody else in town.
But if
If
you're
we
in
have a
town-
complaint, then we can address it. So are you,
So right now you're having people that as long as nobody opens their mouth and complains about it, they can go out and do whatever they want.
they are,
So,
they are.
That's an
Am
issue,
I
though.
not correct?
but that's an issue. That's what I'm saying. So if we're seeing something and we know about it and we're not doing anything, we're just as guilty now.
But the point is, there are all kinds of things that we all drive by every single day, every day.
So let's start
Going
fixing
home-
about this instead of
I never
just turning
seen
a
it.
blind eye.
I know, you don't
'Cause I'm
look,
watching
you
the
look
road.
straight ahead, I
We
know.
had this discussion with the choice on
So let's start fixing this though, but
You
instead
can
of
be the
turning a blind
complainant.
eye.
You can be the
No, we're
complainant.
not, that's not what we're doing. Do we have the money? You have to think about this, it's financial also. Do we have the money to proceed with it? I mean, we can write letters till we're blue in the face, that doesn't mean they have to act. We can take them to court. We act and they have to respond. But every time we do that, we will pay. How big is our budget? How far are we willing to go?
And if
Where do we
win,
stop?
We should have them pay for the court costs as well.
Well,
so
that
we
doesn't mean they're gonna pay
That
for
doesn't-
court
that doesn't
costs.
work.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Okay, so this is gonna go back now because we have several properties here that are gonna be asking for building permits. We have Brad Hunter that came in and asked for a building permit.
Right.
And we start turning blind eyes to all this stuff here. which
No,
is
we're not
basically-
saying that. No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying people you drive by. When people come in and have a concern or want a permit, that needs to be addressed. That's like somebody coming in to complain. But how big of a hole are we going to dig here?
We're aware of it now, so we need to do something about it, in my opinion.
Okay, how are we aware of it?
It's on recording now. It's public knowledge now. Everybody knows about it because we're recording it. And almost everyone in town is listening to these minutes. So now basically that
Well,
driveway
that-
permit that you're gonna be
that's
asking
true.
for later on, apparently you could just go ahead and do whatever you want now because we're not gonna say
Okay,
anything.
now we're not going there, Curtis.
Just,
Yeah,
you're an existing
Plus it's-
driveway, which is not an issue.
it's a state road.
Right. But I'm just saying, we're aware of it now, it needs to be addressed. That's my opinion.
You're right, you're right.
So. And if we're only allowed one curb cut, we need to.
And that's
start off
clearly,
by
that's
writing-
clearly spelled out in the zoning ordinance.
Right, so we start writing a letter.
Mhm.
And we have to start moving, we have to start acting. Because if not, we're gonna be seeing things left and right going on, and we're not gonna have any control whatsoever.
Okay,
Not saying that we're gonna be a police town or anything like that, that's not what I'm saying. I want people to be able to build, I want people to be able to do what they need to do, but I want it done legally. And if
but
we
we
know
do
this,
things legally. Now we do.
we know about a driveway that's been put in illegally, and if we don't act on it now, we're just as guilty. in my
Okay, and who
opinion.
is the person complaining?
I will be the person complaining.
Okay,
right
that's
now,
all I wanted to know. That's fine.
because we need to act on it,
Okay,
in my opinion.
that's fine now.
Anything else on that issue?
I don't have anything.
No. Okay, fundraiser. I was hoping Ben would be here, because a few weeks ago he said that he would find somebody to run that fundraiser for the ambulance folks.
I thought he was talking about the church to do that.
I think I mentioned the church, but Ben said he would find somebody. And hopefully he'll be here next week and I'll be able to ask him then, because we're going to start running out of time here. Okay, next item, agenda request forms. Are we ready to start using those?
Oh yeah, it's been posted online, so it's the next day, so.
Okay. So,
Nobody's come in to do it.
so starting next week, the deadline, actually starting this week then, Thursday at 5 o'clock will be the deadline to complete and submit an agenda request form for anybody that wants to come in and handle anything. And then you will, Friday after 5 o'clock, you will send those forms to each of us so that we have all weekend to pretend that we're getting ready. Okay. And building permits, we got a couple of things here. Curtis, you're familiar with these. Why don't you walk us through them?
Yeah. So with John Langevin's, because he came in for a building permit and his original one said that he was attaching to the existing structure, and then he found out that it wasn't really savable. He came in, talked to Alissa, mentioned it. There was some discussion there. I don't know what was actually said, but he took it upon that it said basically you got to go ahead. So it was brought to the planning board attention that what was going on. We went down there and we talked to John, let him know, hey, what's going on, found out some information and said, no, we need this, and a new building permit because it's now new construction. And it also, the building size is not going to change. The position on the map is just moving just a little bit. I don't know how many feet with that corner. Do you know off the top of your head?
It was angled towards the road. We just made it
Parallel with the road,
parallel
correct?
with the road.
So
2 feet or so? Yeah. Very minimal.
Still within, beyond the setback, right?
Yeah, he's still well within the setbacks.
Even beyond the setback.
Beyond, well,
So the only issue that we had from before, that if he was told that if he would have left up one wall, it wouldn't be a new construction. So to avoid any further people when they come in, advise them to come speak to us. I don't know what, like I said, the conversation was between you and John. So I guess
Well,
to avoid any issues
He's doing from the basement up,
now.
so couldn't we?
Well, I was before.
No? Oh,
They had a basement, but
Right.
once I got in there, the tenant that
The-
was in there didn't want to leave, and finally I got in there a month and a half later and looked at the foundation, the big 3-foot, the foundation, and it wasn't really safe to build off of
right, and he couldn't change the position
I didn't-
of the
I didn't
house
change
if he
that
didn't do
anyway.
the basement, yeah, so he's going
Right.
from there
So
on.
the only issue was that now that's a new construction and it falls underneath a different type of permit and needs a demo, is that if he would have kept up one wall on the existing structure, he would have been fine. He wouldn't need anything new because he's still attaching it to the existing structure. So
Yeah.
it was just misinformation, but he corrected it, all the building permits and everything. And Kyle's looking it through. Sits on the planning board and no issues.
no issues.
17, 22 feet. So he says that he did everything that he was told or asked to do, so I'm good with it. Kyle's good with it for a rep from the planning board, so I guess we can go ahead and sign it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you have a teacher in the high school, or did you have a student do it?
it. I was thinking,
Kind of cool, I think.
remember Nandoff did that a couple times.
You need that, right?
Are we charging him again for another building permit?
That was something that we,
Why would we do that? He didn't complete the first building permit, so why would we charge him?
That's what we were thinking, but we just weren't sure.
it's basically up to us.
He hasn't done anything yet.
So if we don't want to, then we don't have to, but if we want to, we can.
What do you think?
The option
I
is
think we
there.
should triple the charge. No.
So, yeah, don't forget your number and your
Well, I'm
copy.
just gonna
No.
avoid the other one and put this one in place, it'll be the same number, we don't need to
Okay,
read the
well,
paper.
you paid for a building permit once,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Is there a charge for a demolition permit?
Yes,
I don't know what it is.
Okay, so you would still need to pay that.
that
It
one's,
was the size of a shed. It was the size of a shed.
The original structure?
Yeah.
Well, we have to pay for Curtis's double driveway here, so yeah, he's gonna pay.
But I
Where
think,
are you looking?
I think we're in agreement,
Yeah.
I think we're in agreement that you're just gonna use the same building permit number as before, so there's no charge on that.
the very bottom, it says demolition, it's got 4 different categories.
Demolition, multi-unit? No. Single family, barn, garage, shed, $5.
Is that it?
Hey,
Whole whopping $5.
We got it.
So-
I can't take money in this office.
Okay.
Marcy takes the
Marcy will
money.
have it tomorrow. I filled out a demo permit, I'll have them
I'm
sign it,
headed back to the beach probably next week, is that right?
that's fine.
So thank you, and
It's just a basic like
The strike is a runner.
I apologize for the misinformation and everything, and thank you for cooperating.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, we appreciate it, John. Have a great vacation.
Thanks.
this next one is a application for a permit to perform work for 138 Mackey Road. Byron and Stacy O'Brien. Frank Lucius Construction is going to be doing the construction. There's a general contractor, the subcontractor is electrical, Lance Cleveland. Subcontractor for plumbing and HVAC is Stephen Walsh. A 28-foot by 60-foot modular home by New Era, 1680 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath with full basement.
That's it.
These are just a deed to...
Now, did you look at the estimated cost or the estimated appraisal value?
They serious?
I know, that's what I said.
Value of construction is $206,138.
Yeah, I believe it. That's a big house.
No, it's not worth that. It's not worth anywhere near that.
So
Well, then again, it makes the town more money, so
What?
might as well go with it.
Yeah,
So I can just
I say
say,
we bring this.
I don't ever want to say a property is worth less than it's appraised
Yeah.
at.
But I think you may have understood and added the cost of putting it in together, because that's just other
Right,
construction.
does it meet the setbacks and everything else on there?
Was thinking about bringing this one to the planning board
That's fine.
again.
that's a
Okay.
good idea, because on there, that 206 doesn't include the lot, doesn't include the septic.
Well, with the price and everything, it doesn't
The price doesn't.
really matter because it's going to be assessed afterwards
It'll be
anyway.
appraised after.
Yeah. So it's just basically making sure it meets all the setbacks, and if there is a septic by any water, it's same thing with Brad Hunter's property. It's
Yeah.
just we have to make
Yes.
sure everything is.
Yep,
And we have plans with this one, so
okay.
planning board
When are they meeting?
next Wednesday.
Next one. Okay.
Next Wednesday.
Okay, new business. Dollar General Certificate of Occupancy. I got a call from someone last Thursday from Dollar General. I think it was somebody from the builder. It was a bad connection. I couldn't hear everything you said. But they want a certificate of occupancy next week before they start putting in all of their shelving and fixtures. So, fire chief signs off on a CO, right?
Right, that goes to Mark Hunter.
All right. Who else?
That's it.
He's the only one that needs to do it?
Yep.
There's no water or sewer right there, right? They had a well.
They have
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So
a
just
septic.
It's
and-
just marked.
So nobody from planning board needs to do anything?
We don't really have the authority. It's
No,
the
they don't.
selectmen. We, if we wanna go down and look at it,
Yeah.
we can,
Okay.
but do
But
we
it's
know what
Mark's
we're looking at?
signature
Right.
that gets them in.
All
not
right,
us.
so would you
Well, it's our
contact,
signature. We give the.
Actually, I'll call Mark. since I talked to the guy at Dollar General, I'll
No,
call
he
Mark
does.
and I'll put him in touch
He
with the guy,
signs the certificate.
so they can set something up.
The person that inspects it signs it.
I thought we as,
We, after Mark gives us his signature on the building permit, comes here, and then you guys have to sign off on it.
So Mark does not issue the certificate of occupancy.
it comes from the selectmen.
He'll go over there and inspect it, give us something, and we sign off on that, okay.
Mark's only looking for safety,
Fire code stuff.
Right.
and fire code stuff. And probably an FYI or just information on where the sprinkler setup is and stuff like that. Just so if there is a fire there, he can make himself familiar with it. But as for, meeting all the codes and everything like that, that falls back on us because we do not have a building inspector or a
Right.
code enforcement officer. So we can go down there and do a walkthrough if we want to. Are we gonna know what we're looking at? Not necessarily. We can bring somebody from the planning board for an advisory. We can bring a contractor down for advisory, but it's still up to us if we're gonna get
Right,
that occupancy.
and even if we would bring an advisory, unless it was a paid, it's not going to be anybody that will stand behind their decision unless we're paying somebody to do that.
Well, it's strictly advisory. We're gonna be the ones responsible at the end because we have no building code enforcement
Right.
officer and stuff like that. So it's still us. It falls back on us. So even if we have anybody that goes down for advisory, it's still falling back on us right now.
All right, so, what we're gonna do then, I'm gonna call Mark, have Mark call, Seth, who's the guy at Dollar General,
Okay.
and set up a time for Mark to go up there, do a walkthrough, and sign everything, and then we'll be able to sign everything next Monday. Actually, I think they wanted it for this weekend.
Mark works late,
Yeah, well, he can always have one of his deputies do it too,
one of his engineers.
yeah. The certificate of occupancy only needs one signature, right? Right, okay, so if he can do that sometime this week, then I'll pop in and sign the CO and give it to the Dollar General folks. Because I know that this Saturday, July 1st, is when they wanted to start putting in the fixtures. Okay? Any questions on that?
I have a question.
Okay.
What are they putting in electrical fixtures, or how can
No,
we sign
fixtures
off?
fixtures mean shelving and hooks and all that for the,
Oh,
But
gondolas,
the
okay.
electric's already
Okay.
been put in, outlets have been put in, all that. Luckily, they had a contractor go in there, so it can go back on the contractor, but once we say it's okay, we're taking basically
Right.
responsibility for it, so. It's kinda damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation, so.
okay, Recreation Committee Organization.
So, met with the rec department last Tuesday. Every year we already do the voting for the treasurer, the secretary, and everything like that. So I got the years and the time frames. We just jotted down real quick, so
Okay.
let me just go over it.
Well, what I was gonna say is, Allan and I were talking about this before the meeting. I talked to Bob about it today, and I think you should take it back to committee. And because every job, you have to put down the, descriptions for every position, whatever you do.
No, only for the 3 positions. For the treasurer, the chair, and the secretary. As per your RSA that you printed out. I went back through and looked it up. It was only those positions that need to be done on a yearly basis. Everyone else is, however late you want to stay on the committee. If you want a 3-year term, you stay on it for 3 years. If you want a 2-year term, 2 years, 1 year, 1 year.
Okay,
But
according to
in your
Margaret,
RSA
though, it has to be everyone.
Nope. Your RSA stated the only 3
Okay.
people that had to be done on a yearly basis is the treasurer, secretary, and the chair. And it could be the same person every time, as long as the committee votes it in. and
Okay,
it
so
doesn't
that
matter.
would mean Bob, the director.
Not necessarily.
Director's a paid position with the town,
Correct.
separate from the
Correct.
committee.
Right. So the chairperson could be different. It doesn't necessarily have to be Bob. Would it make sense for somebody other than Bob to do it, not necessarily, but it can be done.
Okay, so did you explain the positions?
Yes.
Okay, then.
Everyone was
basically
good with
that's
this,
all you need.
and even with the treasurer, they all said that they're all good for this time frame, and then next March, when we do the voting again, if we get more people on, or not that it's a voted position, it's just if you want to be on it, you join.
You have to decide how many are in the committee also, Margaret said. You have to have a number.
Right now, if somebody wants to join in and participate, because we don't have everybody participating in every event,
Uh-huh.
the more the merrier is what we
Well-
decided.
Barbara, are you saying, based on your conversation with Margaret, that, and Margaret is a staff attorney at New Hampshire Municipal Association, that the committee needs to set a ceiling on the number of members,
Correct,
and they can then recruit up to that number?
correct.
Make it 50.
It has to be 51 to offset it.
Odd number.
Well, you're never
Go
gonna
ahead.
get there, that's my point, so.
51,
Make it 51, okay.
49,
49.
49 it is
All right.
for the people.
But we can always go back and change it in the
Right,
unlucky
well,
event you ever
you
get that
can
many.
And as long as-
revisit this every year. I mean, it doesn't, this is in stone for a year. At the end of the year, you can go back and revisit and change things.
Well, every year, those 3 positions still have to be voted on. So
Correct.
come March, that's when we vote who's gonna be these positions, and everyone else that's up for their 1-year term, if they're up, we ask them if they wanna do another one. They can stay on a 1-year, a 2-year, or a 3-year.
Okay, now, according to the RSA, you need to put a number, you have to have a rolling.
Staggered terms.
There.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get the paper from you last week, so we just wrote it down and annotated, and we asked everyone, what do you want? You want a 3-year? You want a 2-year? You want a 1-year? They gave us the information. We wrote it down. The only ones that are 1-year automatically are the treasurer, secretary, and chair.
Well, I think that 1 year applies to holding the office, not to committee membership. For example, the chair must be a member of the committee.
Right.
It could be a 3-year appointment to the recreation committee and get elected chair. That's only good for 1 year. At the end of that year, he's still got 2 years remaining on his appointment
Correct.
to the rec committee.
Correct. Or 1 year.
Or depending on whatever we have
they
left.
wanted to
No,
do.
but the office is, the term of office is separate from the term of membership on the committee.
Right. So,
Okay, so what you need to do is type something formally up, so we can put it with Bob's description, his job description, so everything is together. And we can file it here.
And for letters of appointment, I think one letter, just listing everybody with their terms is all we really need. They don't have to be separate letters.
No, that probably would be fine. And when you swear everybody in, you need to get the appropriate paperwork from Marcy to swear everybody
You've
in.
already got that, right?
I have not got any paperwork because we discussed it
Oh,
last
it's
week.
just
And we were gonna bring it
the oath
back.
form, the standard oath form.
Right. Well, we were discussing it last week that we are going to bring it in, bring in the list of everything, and then get the letters written
Right.
up.
Well, just one letter.
One letter with
Will you
everyone's name
prepare that
on
letter
it.
for him? Okay.
And
And do you have any blank oath forms?
I do not.
All right, let me get you one.
I can make copies.
And then you can turn after everybody is voted in, takes the oath and signs, then you turn it all back into Marcy. Because she's our record keeper, and she'll make notes.
All right.
You should always have a few of those on hand.
Yeah.
Curtis, can you make me a copy of that after, so I can do the...
Yeah. So,
Okay, do we have anything else to discuss on the recreation committee?
I think Bob had something.
No, my question was answered by looking at the budget, that's what I needed to see.
Okay.
Okay.
Bob, last week when you and Robin were in, and Missy, we asked for a copy of the schedule.
Yep.
And Robin said that she would get one to us. Do you by any chance have that?
I think I got one, I can email it to her now.
Oh, I can't hear you.
I've got one, she can, I'll email it to her,
Okay.
I think it's on this phone. If not, we got it on the other one.
real quick, when do you get an email about the bacteria in the sand dam?
You get a call usually between 3 and 4 on Friday afternoon.
Fridays? And when do they test?
They test
That day?
Thursdays.
Thursdays?
They came today again and tested again, and they're gonna call me in the morning. By mid-morning, they said, to verify whether it changed or not over the weekend. Chances of it happening is pretty slim. We didn't get much rain. But she said that this is only an advisory. It is not something shutting down the beach. If you want to swim, then they can still swim. But it's advising you not to.
Right.
It is high bacteria. And we are far from the only one that's got the problem right now. We closed them down to Swansea.
Autumnbrook and Alissa, you're both.
So, and you already discussed it with Bob about reporting them, just giving him a phone call?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier today.
So, all right. So,
Is Rockwood Pond closed?
No. There's nobody to test that.
Oh,
It's only beaches that are recreation
gotcha,
beaches.
okay.
so Rockwood Pond could actually be high in level?
Could be anything. I went up there to see if there was a sign that, yesterday, just, because that's an alternative to us swimming here.
No.
And
There's
there's no
nobody,
signs.
they're not gonna post it because they don't test it.
Yeah, there's no signs.
Never mind, it feeds in the sand dam, so.
Well,
Probably
yeah.
where it's coming from.
And
Yeah.
that's where the problem, one of the major problem lies, is we used to have control of Rockwood, and we could get a little more flow of water when something like this took place, and we could get movement in the pond,
That's the biggest thing.
and now we can't do that anymore, because the Rockwood Pond Association owns the dam now, not Troy Mills.
Okay. So anything else for recreation?
Out of curiosity, have you talked to them about it? I
About
assume you
what?
have. About using the dam?
They will absolutely not,
Okay,
because they're the owners of the camps, and they want the water for their boats.
that's what I figured, but I figured I'd ask.
How's Rockwood fed? Is it spring fed or?
Spring fed, and it's got, I think there's like 4 different little brooks that feed into it as well.
Jim,
It's surprising number of brooks go into it.
would you discuss this with Barbara outside of this meeting? And Barbara, next time you talk to Cy, would you bring this up? And the term you want to bring up in here is riparian. I'll spell it Riparian. Rights. We may be able to compel them to open that dam.
Do we want to do that? I'll ask.
I don't know.
Let's find out if it's possible. But that's the term that you'll need to use with Cy, and find out if we have those rights being downstream from Rockwood. Well, essentially what happens is, let's say that there's a stream that runs through our backyards. I'm upstream from you. I can't dam up my property if it's going to affect your property.
It's like a driveway. If there are 3 homes on the same driveway,
Yeah.
the person at the bottom is responsible for keeping it open for the
Yeah,
other 2.
something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's the
But
same
there may
idea.
be something here that we can do. Okay, anything else for recreation? Nope. Okay. Troy Redevelopment Group. Has anything changed? We have any more information since last week?
They're dissolved.
They're not dissolved.
Well,
Okay, I know what you're saying. When they think they're dissolved because they filed for bankruptcy. But if the bankruptcy petition was dismissed without action, then they're not dissolved,
Correct.
whether they think they are or not.
Right.
I think we ought to table that until next week. Herb has been doing a lot of background searching and
Okay.
questions and stuff like that.
All right.
And
And Cy's working on it at the moment too with Peter Roth.
With who?
Peter Roth,
Who is he?
one of the persons in the office one of the attorneys that took care of the
Inside office?
dismissal. No,
Oh.
no.
In the
Concord.
bankruptcy court?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
All right. Well, we'll table that till next week.
yeah, and I'll.
We'll
you
keep
know,
that on the agenda.
He's more than, it's nice that he's doing that,
Yeah.
but unless we get a legal opinion,
well, it was also brought up about doing a deed search, and that'll tell you who actually owns it.
Title search.
Title search,
Yeah.
go.
and it basically gives you paperwork and who actually owns it.
I don't think that's going to help us much.
No,
The only thing a title search will show you is
last
the
known.
deeds, the history of the deeds. And a deed, some people think a deed is like a certificate of title for a car, and it is not. A deed is a a conveyance. If I sell you a house, I give you a deed, that's like a bill of sale, that's all it is. Until you register it with the county, it doesn't mean a thing. So what's going on now with Troy Mills is not in the county
It's
register.
way beyond that point.
Yeah,
It's way beyond that point.
they'll probably, the last deed that they're gonna have on it is going to be from about 15 years ago, when Troy Mills went bankrupt. There's probably some document transferring it to the town of Troy. And that'll be the last thing you're gonna find in a title search. Title search is when you wanna go way back. What we're really concerned about is what's happened in the last 3 years.
And what's happened in the last year in bankruptcy court.
Yeah.
And where it's proceeded from there. It has moved on.
Right, I'm trying to remember what Herb said.
Well, when
Well,
I
it's,
think we ought to just table it until
It's-
Herb
yes.
comes
Okay.
in and he can help.
Table it till next week.
well, yeah,
Okay.
whatever.
Next item is exhaust brake ordinances. When we had the meeting of the Joint Loss Management Committee a couple of weeks ago, a guy from the insurance company was there, and he suggested that we get rid of all these ordinances because they're not enforceable and they could hold us liable. Is that pretty much what he said?
Pretty much what he said.
Yeah, okay. So, and I planned to write this up for tonight, I didn't get around to it, so for next week, I'm going to write up an ordinance that we can vote on that will just say that all existing exhaust brake or Jake brake ordinances for the town of Troy are repealed. That's all it'll say.
So we're rescinding them.
Rescinding everything.
Okay.
We can't enforce them, and just having them on the books creates a possibility of liability. Any questions on that?
Yes,
Okay.
we need to make sure that Dave Ellis and his troops are enforcing the speed limits through that.
Separate issue. Okay, next Joint Loss Management Committee, we already covered that. Worldwide computer quote, we covered. Summer program licensing requirements, that really isn't even on here. That was, Tom Matson sent us an email asking us to make sure that our summer camp program was properly licensed with the state. So I immediately looked up the RSA, and there's exemptions, and municipal recreation programs are exempt.
Right.
So it's non-issue.
Yeah, did they apply for a licensing when you started?
No.
Back a few years ago when Kerry Mattson and
Yeah, that
the
committee
original
was
people
doing it?
they got with one of the state senators, and they went back and forth with DCYS and all the other organizations to make sure we complied, and we do comply. So
Yeah.
they did have all documentation on that.
Good.
Okay, welfare question to NHMA we covered. Map 22 lot 5, what is that?
That's the one we talked,
That's that little piece way up north that we have the tax deed on, okay. Letter from Chris Rocheleau we covered, letter from New Hampshire Department of Transportation. Yeah, Jim, we got a thing here from DOT. They're gonna repave Route 12. But,
I met with him out here.
all right, they also had some things in here. And I read this thing and I can't figure out exactly what they're planning to do. And I'm looking in the wrong folder, that's why. Here it is. I pulled it out already. They're talking about remarking some crosswalks. And I don't understand what they want to do with the one opposite the common.
The opposite end of the common, we have an issue of a water problem. And I talked to them because they aren't just gonna resurface. They've got to grind some of it around the common area because there's no curb reveal, hardly any curb reveal left now. And if you put another 3/4 of an inch on, it'll be gone. And it's very, very costly to dig the granite up and raise it up. Well, one of the places they're gonna grind, I showed them where we have a major water problem that all winter long is ice and water stays there because the road is so flat, you can't run one way or the other.
Right.
I corrected their problems when we did the Safe Route to Schools sidewalk on the other side of the common. We put in 3 new drains for them and plumbed them into their existing drainage system. Well, that's basically what needs to be done there. But if they are going to grind the road, they can do different depths and they can slope it so that the water will run. And I just showed them where
Okay.
it needed to be done. There's also a place over here that they gotta do the same thing. You'll see the apartment building behind the brick apartment building here, out front of there, is all busted up on the edge of the road, because there's always water there.
Right.
It can't go anywhere. It's the same thing, if they're gonna do the grinding, they can change the slope enough that they may be able to get the water to run,
Okay,
without putting drainage in.
all right. Let's look at what they're asking us here. At the intersection of Monadnock and South Main, there's a very long crosswalk that crosses part of Monadnock and all of South Main with no refuge area, and there's poor recognition of a pedestrian in this crossing due to the site obstruction provided by the island. So I assume that what they're talking about there is,
They're talking out in front of the library. We've
Right.
discussed this well over 20 years now.
yeah,
And they never can come up with a solution of what they want to do. Because of the lighting is poor
Yeah.
at nighttime.
right,
And what they need to do is go across Monadnock Street onto the island and then cross the road. So they got a stop off point or whatever,
right.
but it just never seems to happen.
Hmm.
They have all their engineers come down and they spend time and just getting nothing accomplished.
So are they asking us to make a
Well,
decision, or?
It says, the island would become a pedestrian refuge. Well, let me read the whole paragraph. At the intersection of Monadnock and South Main, there's a very long crosswalk that crosses part of Monadnock and all of South Main with no refuge area, and there's poor recognition of a pedestrian in the crossing due to the site obstruction provided by the island. This project would propose to change the crossing as shown in the aerial photo below. The island would become a pedestrian refuge, allowing for one roadway to be crossed at a time. The island would be formalized with curbing, loamed and seated, and the existing traffic signing would be redesigned. These crosswalks would still remain the maintenance of the town. I think it means the responsibility for maintenance by the town, but the department's construction project would make the changes at no cost to the town. So right now, if you're on the corner where the library is
Right.
located, you could cross over to the front of the church, the Congregational Church. So I think what they're suggesting, I could be wrong here because this is kind of vague. I think what they're suggesting is put the crosswalk right in the middle of the road from the island.
Right.
Is that right? Okay.
They want to cross onto the island and
Right.
then across.
So the crosswalk, here in white, you see the existing
Right.
crosswalk. So they want to do it this way.
So they want to build us a new island?
It sounds that way.
No,
This is something
I
new.
think they're
Well,
talking
we
about.
can't use the existing one.
Well, right now, here's what they're getting at now. Right now, if you want to cross from over here, you cross straight over and then
Correct.
come down here. So what they're suggesting, although they didn't have a crosswalk marked in here, but they're suggesting just shifting that crosswalk farther south and having it go from the corner of the library to the island, and then from the island across the street.
Right, and don't you think this island should be moved more this way?
That's not going to happen.
Don't you think that island should be moved more that way?
Maybe it should, but that's
No,
not.
no, that'd be fine. But then you still got this issue here.
Yeah.
They still haven't addressed that.
Well, we can still put a crosswalk in there,
Yep.
even if they don't. No, maybe the island does need to be moved, but they're not going to do that as part of this project. This is resurfacing. When you resurface, you're obliterating the crosswalks. So they're saying, since we have to put the crosswalks back in, maybe we'll just
Put
change the
it there.
location. Yeah.
Okay, so is that island large enough?
Oh, yeah.
Does it?
Yeah, right now it's just grass and plants.
Right,
Do
exactly.
you think that's a good idea?
I think it's an excellent idea. It's
What do you
something
think,
that
Curtis?
we've been
Okay.
trying to do for 20 years.
Let them pay for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Things take time, I
yeah,
guess.
they're going to do it. They just want to know if it's okay with us. We're all okay with that?
Yeah.
Would you let them know it's okay? All right. And then the other thing, I still don't understand what they want to do around the common. Let me read what it says here. This walkway will need, can't read it.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, please. Right there.
This walkway will need detectable warning surfaces prior to the crosswalk, meaning printed into the,
It's the metal that we put in all across,
Yeah, see.
where any crosswalk is. We have to have a metal thing. It's for blind people so they can
detect
where.
that that's it,
Like me.
that that's there. Okay, yeah, it's for,
Timber metal plate?
Yes.
yeah, for
They
ADA,
use
cross
plastic
slope
as well, but they
requirement.
must put something in it because it's supposed to be metal.
And I think we should allow the state to do that.
Yeah.
They're gonna
So
do
we're
that
in
as well?
compliance. Yeah, well, they want to do that.
Okay, because the issue we have with the crosswalk at the south end of the common, they made me stop printing that one because where it comes from the east side of the common and goes across the northbound lane, if I put one in there, then I have to put one on the other side.
Mhm.
And I can't, because then I gotta do away with the parking places. Because you can only be so many feet, and I can't tell you what the footage is, from a crosswalk. And it would take out, I think, three of the parking places up in front of the old red shed or Chandler's place,
Yeah,
whatever
and
it's
we
called.
can't afford to give
You
those
can't
up.
get rid of them. If we get rid of them, we're gonna have no
I
parking.
was saying,
Right.
there's only 3 spots there anyways.
So that's why I don't print that one
There.
there.
Well, if they're willing to improve it, I think we should do it.
Okay, could you take a look at this aerial photograph and tell me where we're talking about?
If you look right here, there's not a crosswalk.
Oh, okay, I
You
thought we were
see?
talking somewhere
No,
up here.
there's no
okay.
crosswalk there
Right.
and there's none here, because
Gotcha.
if I took it, see how the cars are parked there?
Okay,
It would go
yeah.
right into the parking
All right,
spot.
why can't we do the crosswalk here but not over there?
Because then you're leaving the people no place to
Enter.
go the rest of the way.
So we would have to
We
take out,
just don't do it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
We just don't do
Just
it.
ignore it.
okay,
And that's the one that has the major puddle in it as well.
okay. All right, so we'll tell them yes on the first project, no on the second one?
The second one, I don't know
No.
exactly what they're talking about for
Well,
the
let's-
second.
No, I,
Okay, this walkway will need detectable, they're talking about. this
Which
is-
one are they talking about? That's the middle one.
right.
That is the middle
So
one,
we
right
should
here.
do that.
That's a yes.
Okay, this walkway will need detectable warning surfaces prior to the crosswalk.
The only place that there's not detectable warning surfaces is on the east side of the common. All the
Okay.
ones over here we did.
All right, let's look at
When
everything
we
it says
did
here.
the,
In order to
safety
meet the
slope.
ADA cross slope requirements, our work will extend back beyond the fence. Is the town willing to allow the state to install these pedestrian ramps?
What they're saying is, on all these two that we have
Yep.
here now, I think is what they're talking. They're showing the picture of that one, they're not showing the picture of that one.
Okay.
They have to take those panels, the concrete panels out
Yep.
and pour new ones with those devices in them.
They're gonna do that pad up past the fence at first.
Right.
so-
Well, no, the devices will be right at the rope,
Yeah.
but they're in the panel that goes beyond the fence,
It goes
is what
beyond
they're
the fence,
saying.
yeah.
So
All
they're
right.
gonna take them out, yeah.
Okay. Next, the southernmost walkway through the square does not have crosswalks. However, pedestrians on this walkway will need to be alerted via detectable warning surfaces, truncated domes. What is a truncated
Is
dome?
that a
I
speed
have
bump?
no idea. I have no idea. I thought we
It's
were
a
on
wall.
the same page with them, but I guess not.
So they need to be alerted via detectable warning surfaces, truncated domes, that they are leaving the walkway and entering the highway. If the walkway was eliminated, then this work would not be required.
And what he's saying about the walkway being eliminated, they're talking about the concrete sidewalk
Right.
going through
Right.
the whole common.
Right.
Right.
If the town is interested in removing this walkway, the department may be willing to conduct this work as part of the project.
The one on the south end?
Yeah. So right here, oops. Whoops. No crosswalks.
So might as well get rid of it. It goes nowhere.
What do you think, Barb?
I think you're gonna get opposition both sides.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, it is used for seating when we do things on the common for people. I mean, it's a sturdy place to put
Yeah.
chairs for handicapped or
Yeah.
whatever when there's festivities going on. I don't know.
They show truncated domes as like a big yellow plastic.
Speed bump.
Speed bump. Yeah.
Yeah, speed bump.
That's all
Pretty
it
much.
is.
I mean, it's only an inch or so above, it's gonna raise bumps.
Just something more.
It's
than
just
fixing a
to
snow blower.
change the topography so you're you're entering a different area.
Right. So are we in agreement then that we do not want to do project number 3?
I don't know, if we don't do it, is that a problem?
I don't know.
What are the consequences if we don't do it?
So they said they're
First
gonna,
I've heard of it.
they
Well-
said they were gonna remove, if we went ahead, the whole walkway through the common?
Well, there's,
Well,
okay,
if we did,
Yeah, is that what they're saying?
here's what they're saying. The southernmost walkway through the square does not have crosswalks, however, pedestrians on this walkway will need to be alerted via detectable warning surfaces that they are leaving the walkway and entering the highway. Now, that's the requirement, and either they're going to do it or we'll do it. Now, separate sentence now. If the walkway was eliminated, then this work would not be required. So if you take out the sidewalk and seat it, then you don't need to put the warning
We're good to
devices at the
go.
end.
You're still gonna have the opening in the common.
Well, we could fix that, but
okay, but now I have a question. The trees, if we take down those trees
Yeah.
that Eversource wants
Yeah,
removed,
I've got that on my list.
I know, but does that have any bearing
No.
on the side?
None at
Okay,
all.
all right.
all right. So,
I guess the question is exactly what they want to put there for a truncated dome. Is it gonna be like just a yellow flat one which didn't really raise up, or is it gonna be a big bump?
Sounds
well,
like-
it's got to be
and then-
something you can wheel over.
Right,
That's what I
Yeah.
see.
it has
So
to,
If there's
it's
something
probably
that's
just
brightly colored, I
something
think
that you would
it's
feel
fine.
if you were blind. You'd feel the difference in the surface,
Yeah,
but it wouldn't restrict a wheelchair.
as long as it's not like a big hump like some of them showed.
Yeah.
Or
I
snow.
think that's what it is. It's not maybe a big hump, it's probably only a couple inches high, but it's something,
All right.
I don't know.
So they're saying we need those, unless
We take it out.
we'll
And
take
take
out
it
the
out.
walkway. But I think when they say take out the walkway, I think they are also talking about blocking off the openings in the fence. If you have the openings in the fence, people are still going to go in and out there.
If you're gonna close out the openings, then the granite's gonna have to be drilled and everything, because they're end posts.
Yeah.
so where we
What do you
get-
think, Curtis? Just on that third project.
I'd say take it out, they're willing to do it, do all the work, and that's not gonna cost the townspeople anything.
Well, it will. The gates.
Well,
will.
it wouldn't cost anything to take out the sidewalk.
No,
If
well,
they were-
sure it will,
I
it'll
think
be
you need to
time.
write a letter to them and see exactly what they're gonna do. Are they just gonna take the concrete out and reseed? Are they gonna close the gaps? Are they not gonna close the gaps?
Because if they're gonna do everything, let them do it.
Then
It's
it'll
no
be.
cost to the
Yeah, but
town.
I
Instead
bet
of us
they
sending a
don't.
letter, Jim,
I think you have
do
any
you know
social
Toby
services.
Reynolds?
I don't know, I've heard of him, I haven't.
Okay, he's the one that sent the, yeah.
Follow up on it.
He's the one that sent this. Do you have a copy of this?
Nope.
Okay, Alyssa, would you forward a copy of this to Jimmy? Thank you. All right, so I think we're in agreement then that the first two projects in that email are go.
Okay,
The third one, we want more information.
yep.
And we'll table that till next week.
Yes.
All right, John Lynn, would you care, O'Brien? That's everything. Now we're down to, now it's your turn, Jim.
Oh, now I can talk? I met with the tree company that's doing all the tree trimming in town right now for Eversource. They're trimming only the three-phase. And when they trim for three-phase, they trim much different than when trimming for regular wires. Three-phase, they want to trim at the base. And they have 4 trees in the common they would like to cut at the base. 2 of which are invasive species. That's what the guy
Are what?
told me. I never heard of that. They're
Invasive.
invasive species.
The tree is
They're
in
red maples.
Okay,
I didn't know they were red, that they were invasive species, but that's what they consider it to be now.
where are these trees located?
Have you got a picture?
Yep,
All right, where are we? We're right here. There's
The
the
gazebo.
bandstone end is
Yeah.
right there.
yeah,
Okay, that orange one.
yeah,
Well, there's one right there that you can't really see.
yeah.
There's 3 of them right there, right in a row right there, and this one green one up here.
Okay, where are the wires along in here?
They go right up.
They run on,
Right
Right
on-
in the middle.
on the
Yep.
common side?
Yep.
Okay. I don't see a problem with that one.
No, that one's a scabby looking one anyway.
All right.
They've trimmed it so much it
I
doesn't
hate to
look
lose
good.
that one.
But the point is, if we don't have them cut completely down, they will butcher them up
Right.
Yeah,
to expose the wires. So
So
they
that-
aren't young trees, they are
where's the
old.
4th tree, Jim?
This
got-
is the fourth one, there's three right here. You
Oh, there's
can't
three
see-
here, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's-
you can't see that one.
you can't,
Okay,
well,
it's a shadow,
Yeah.
like,
All right.
they're right close to the bandstand, all three of them. There's two red maples and there's one,
All right.
I don't know what the one was in the middle.
and do we want the public to see, like the tree we had at the end that we took
The oak that
down?
we took
Where
down?
we had a half a tree?
All right.
And we had to pay to take it down?
So,
Or do we let
so
them
we're
take
gonna,
it down?
no matter what, we're gonna lose half that tree.
Right,
So we might as well go for the whole thing.
I agree.
All right.
I
The only
agree.
thing
stumps
they won't, the only
What?
thing
Will they
they,
take the stumps
I
too?
think I grind.
No.
the only thing they do not do is a stump.
Right,
Do we
we
have a
have to
stump
do
grinder?
that.
We don't have one, but I can put it in my tree work.
All right.
So it's less expensive for us,
We'll let them take the whole thing, because we didn't have to do it anyway.
absolutely,
Yeah. All
and
right.
just do the,
So we're in agreement,
Stop.
we're
I
in agreement
agree.
to tell them,
Totally.
go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Yes.
okay?
All four of them, right?
Yep.
All of them.
Yep.
Yes, we're not gonna do
Well,
some
the
of
four
them.
that were mentioned, not all of them.
Yeah.
Four that were
All
mentioned.
all
you're
four,
right.
yeah.
We're getting
Careful how you
there.
word that.
We took down all the dead ones, so now we're getting there slowly but surely.
All right.
Okay, then I had, the culvert on South Street, that's been a. big
Josh's?
issue. No,
Favorite.
that one hasn't been touched yet, I cut that
All right.
a number of weeks ago, but that one hasn't, he hasn't done anything
All
with
right.
it.
Phaedrus?
Hadrius, we dug it out, I blew it out with a fire truck. The ditch on the outlet side is as deep as I dare go.
Yeah.
And it's still nowhere near deep enough to take the water from that culvert, because they put it way too deep.
And she knows this, right?
I haven't seen her.
All right.
But she was just waiting for the ditches to get cleaned out, so then she can call, Holman to
Yeah.
come in and fix that.
John, come and look at it.
We did our part for doing the ditches, is what you're saying?
Mhm.
So we'll just let her know.
All right.
Do we have the number for
How
her?
deep is that?
I do that.
have it.
How
Cause that
deep
was
is
your,
it?
Can you
yeah.
call her and let her know that that's been completed and she
I
can have Holman
dare
come
say
in
that
and...
the ditch has gotta be at least 4.5 feet deep.
I thought it was deep. 'Cause I
That's
looked at
like
it, that's
way
ridiculous.
It is
Yeah.
way too deep.
Even if it was 18-inch culvert, it should only be barely 3 feet.
I mean, that could be a danger,
Yeah.
way too.
Go off that with a plow truck.
Right.
What size did you say that is recommended for that, to catch all the water? 15?
Excuse me?
What size did you say?
That one is an 18. If it was gonna be galvanized, it was required to be an 18. Plastic, they could have gone with 15, because 15 inch will flow the same amount of water as an 18 corrugated. When it's a smooth bore,
So,
and it's an
Can you go
18
any
that's in there.
smaller?
They could go,
in your recommendation?
I would recommend that they keep the one that's in there, but they just gotta raise it up and put something on top of it. Whether they concrete it or pave it or something, to get enough coverage.
So, all right, can you let Phaedra know when she calls? When you call her, when
Call
she
Judy
has...
and get that information, sure. Will.
Yes, that'd probably be easier, yes.
See, the
Get
trouble
Holman
is-
to come down and do it,
The trouble is that culvert gets all the water from
everything
all
else.
up in back of her house, comes down the side of her driveway.
Yep.
It gets all the water from all the drainage on Long Meadow Drive, Memorial Drive,
Yes.
plus from the knoll up on South Street. There's a lot of water comes down through there.
I'm just trying to think of the easiest way to do it. I mean, if you went smaller,
Well, I think that's more a question for her and her contractor.
Yeah.
Not for
Right,
us.
yes, it's not
The
for
only
us to
thing we
decide.
needed to do was make the ditch to the proper depth. She needs to raise the culvert to the correct height. She
I
can
will-
decide the size she wants.
I will meet with her contract, John, or whoever she does, and discuss it with them. I have no problem with doing that.
That's
Yeah.
really all we're obligated to do at this
Right.
point, is just offer advice to say, this is our ditch to work best with our ditch. That's really all I can do at this point.
so let's just do that and then tell her if she wants to talk to Jim or have Jim talk to John.
We'll call her together in the morning, Jim.
Okay. We'll be together.
If you're gonna be
tomorrow.
together all day, so.
The only last thing I got is Bob Norton informed me today of an issue down this community center. One of the kids opened the door extensively further than what it needed to go, and it ripped the door closer out of the door casing.
Was it on the main entrance?
Second.
No,
Weird.
second
No,
entrance.
in the back entrance.
Oh,
The
okay.
new door that they the door that they repaired in the backside.
Right.
So I have, DA Brothers were coming down anyway to paint, and they're gonna meet with me in the morning and give me an estimate on it. And I'll bring the estimate in on what it will cost to
Okay.
repair it.
All right.
Because the unfortunate thing is the way it's broke, it's the door casing's gotta come all down in order to replace the board above.
Now, what about putting a stop in on the deck, so the door doesn't open up all the way?
Well,
The
if you
issue
do
with that
that,
was-
then you get a tripping issue.
If you put it in further though, isn't there the seating?
Well, I think the issue was, what I saw was that the thing was right at the edge of that board. You only had like this much wood
Mhm.
holding it.
Yeah. Shouldn't that piece also be swapped out like it did on the double door too? Where the main piece is actually swapped?
I don't follow you, Curtis.
Remember on the front door?
Yeah.
They took the big part of it and put it onto the wall.
I guess it was different closures,
Yeah, that's a completely different closure.
different type of closure.
Just wondering if that was swapped, if that would happen again.
I'm gonna have them come down and suggest. I mean, it's obvious that there is an issue.
Yeah.
So
Maybe some
If
block.
you
if
let
they have to go with a different closure, find out what the cost will be and do it right. Pardon me?
It was a 5-year-old that did it.
It's an issue that it's gotta be corrected, so let's just do it and get it done with. Get an estimate anyway and go from there.
How does a 5-year-old even have the strength or the weight to break a door?
I wish I could tell you it was my son.
No, I can't tell you.
He did.
I can't get him to pick up his toys in his room, but he apparently ripped the door off.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Barbara, you have anything else?
Amnesty Day. As long as Jimmy's here, why don't we discuss that?
Okay.
Okay, has anybody thought about this? If they would like to do it, if it's something that, what, Jimmy, as far as our entire total cost could be for hauling away, for another dumpster. Now, would we
What I-
need one more dumpster or two? Would we need one electronic and one, and another, okay,
That's
You
the
go.
problem. I don't know what's gonna come in, number one.
okay.
I was planning on getting a separate dumpster from MDS just for them 2 days. So that we could definitely know what was coming in that would be a cost item, how much the cost would be, how much it's gonna cost the town. So that if my budget goes over by $3,000 and it was $5,000 for that dumpster, you can say, well, it was the freebie that did it.
Mm-hmm.
And the electronic dumpster, that's a pod, and we have to do 3 of them a year. We are on the 3rd one now. So if we get a lot of electronics, it could put us in trouble. We'll have to pay for a 4th one.
Okay, would that be more than the $12.50?
Yes, it would be another
Another
$12.50.
$12.50.
Yeah, $12.50 regardless of whether it went out half full or what. We have a contract that we have 3 dumpsters, or
Right.
3 pods at $12.50 a piece.
Okay.
And it seems like every year they go up, and up. And
Okay, and we could possibly have 4 anyway, if we're going on our 3rd right now.
Mhm.
It's only June. We've got 6 more months to go.
the problem is too, and those aren't even paying for themselves anymore because the electronics are getting so large but still light. You know, you used to have a
Yeah.
big console TV and we were paying by the pound.
And we're charging people by the pound, but we're paying for it by the cubic inches.
Well, no, we're paying, yeah, well, basically, yeah, because that pod, we don't pay, it doesn't make a difference what it weighs
Right.
for the electronics. But that's why I gave you today the increases we've got to do in order to stay afloat.
Okay. We
Okay.
discussed this last week. My concern is cost. You know what's going on with our welfare budget.
Mm-hmm.
And so my suggestion was, since we wouldn't be doing this until September, and we want to announce it in the Troy Town News, the cutoff date for that is August 15th. So our first meeting in August, I want to make a decision on whether we're going to do an amnesty day or not. So on August, what I'm doing now is I'm looking over the budget once a month, first of the month, to see where we are. Because we're going to have to, with this welfare issue, townwide, we're on track on the budget. But that welfare issue is skyrocketing. And so we're going to need to make up that shortfall
Right.
from other departments. And the big departments that we look at are yours, the police department, and the fire department.
Would it be unfair to say that I would rather see you wait one more month and have it,
October?
simply because people are doing their fall cleanup before winter?
That work for you?
Sure.
You've already
And
missed
then
the
we're further into
foundation.
the year, we'll know what we
Well,
got.
the farther in the year we are, the better off. I like it.
Right, because we can tell, you can tell where we are as far as the budget is concerned.
Yeah.
We would,
Another thing too is when we pay for a pod or for an extra dumpster, how fast do we have to pay for it?
The pods, that one will be the end of December, the pod.
By end of December, you mean 1st of January? You see where I'm
Now
going?
you're dipping into next year's budget.
Well, see,
Yes,
but next
yes.
year's budget, we
Yes, it could
we
happen,
can we
yes.
can put the right amount in. You know, we're hurting in welfare because we reduced the welfare budget by $10,000 in anticipation of my neighbor's house opening up. So we won't make that mistake going forward. So if we can postpone paying a bill until January, that alleviates the issue here. And the farther into the year we do this event, the easier it is to postpone paying it until January.
That was it?
Both MDS and the pod could
Could do
hold
that.
off.
Okay.
Yes, that would not be an issue.
All right.
so do you think this is a good idea to do it, correct?
Yes, I do, because the only thing is that the timing's gonna be off regardless, because we just are putting in these increases now, and now's the time I'm afraid I'm gonna start seeing stuff ending up on the roads. But
Here's another
we haven't got
question.
time to do it ahead of time.
If we do this amnesty, I live in Fitzwilliam and I got a trunk, or I got a cellar full of stuff. So I figure, well, I'll just go up to Troy.
No,
Dump
not
all
gonna
my
Not
happen.
without a dump sticker, you won't.
So you're gonna check the stickers.
He's
Okay.
gonna have to.
All right.
Okay,
Sure.
but, Bill,
So,
wait,
so I show up and I say, well, I got the sticker on my other car, but because I had all this stuff, I
Go
brought
get
the
your other
pickup.
car. I don't know, I
Yeah.
don't
okay,
have the answer to that.
now wait, I didn't think, I was under the wrong impression here. I thought if you were a town of Troy resident, you could take advantage of the amnesty day. You
Well,
did
if you
not
wanna
need,
set it up that way, that's fine, but then you're gonna have to check licenses or something to make sure that you have.
well, no, we can check driver's licenses,
Well,
yeah.
you probably wouldn't even need to because if they've got the dump sticker,
Mhm.
then you don't need to check anything else.
Right,
Right,
If they don't have it, then it's show us a license or something with a Troy address.
right.
so are we going to do both
What?
sticker and,
They got a sticker, they're fine.
Sticker or
Right.
license.
okay, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
That's the
saying.
best way to put it.
Is that,
Yeah.
is that,
Yeah,
I
I
don't know
just,
what your manpower is.
I don't
Is it
want-
feasible for you guys to do that down there?
I've already planned.
One more
That
man.
day will be an extra guy on,
Okay.
and he will be right at that dumpster. close to the
so I
dumpster.
tell you, if Fitzwilliam did, and I shouldn't say this on the recording, but if Fitzwilliam had an amnesty day, I'd be posting it on Facebook for Troy residents to know about.
oh no, that's
Bad.
not good, no. But I would be more than glad to come and check licenses or whatever, I mean,
The guy
I'd be
that-
more than glad to help.
That's all he's gonna be responsible for. You don't have to worry about charging because it's all free. So he's just gotta be
Right,
just checking to make sure that there's a dump sticker, or he's gotta,
Yep.
they actually
Yeah,
live
sure.
here,
Yep.
yes. Okay.
Yep.
Is
How
this
much
go?
extra into the budget you think this is gonna add?
Well, to his line item, not
how
to
much
his
extra
total.
what it's gonna cost us?
Well,
Depends on what
I-
comes in. I can't.
actually,
I can't tell you
I-
that.
I don't, he's talking about a line item going over. I don't think that the transfer station budget would go over
No.
for the year.
No.
But I'm counting on them coming under so we can steal that money for the welfare department.
Everybody likes to steal my budgets.
Yeah, because you always come in under budget. You're our cushion. And this year, we're really gonna need it.
So Bob, you're saying you don't want us to do it because,
Oh, I'm not
Okay.
saying that, I'm just trying to figure things out.
We pay $100 a ton for the C&D.
Mhm.
So if you got 20 ton, you got $2,000.
Yeah.
Plus the trucking of $125. I don't believe there'll be more than that, but
So you're thinking 130 yarder.
I'm hoping.
but on the other end of the spectrum here, we're looking at maybe some people cleaning up their yards, cleaning up the roads, not disposing of things on the side of the road as they drive down the road, that they will be kind enough to take it over to the recycling center and dispose of it. And we do not have to write them a letter or whatever.
We also have, tires don't go into those dumpsters, so that can be another charge that may go until mid-year next year, because we only ship out tires once a year.
Okay.
So that's.
So that would be a delayed expense.
There's another delayed expense there. And I think that would be one of the biggest things that'll be coming in as tires.
Well, then that's good, because then we could figure that into next year's budget. And that would be nice, if we could ride down the road and not see everybody's garbage. Or some people's garbage.
I never see it.
I know.
We'll just have them do town inspections. Did you see the house found that? I didn't see it, I saw the road.
So do we want to move forward with this, or do we want to
Well,
table it
again,
and
we're still,
discuss it further?
we're still early.
Okay,
So
so,
let's wait until, like we said, we'll wait until the first meeting in August,
okay,
and we'll talk about it again. We'll have a better idea where we are with the budget,
I won't be here then.
okay?
I thought you said September, Jimmy said wait till September, do it in October.
I know, but right now, we'll take a look at the budget.
every
On the
month
1st of
until we
August, yeah.
get there.
And if we look like we're doing well, then in August, we can still go ahead and proceed with the planning, because we'll have to order an extra pod, order an extra dumpster. And we can go ahead, or we may decide on the 1st of August to postpone further discussion till the 1st of September. Let's see where we are. If we're way over budget, well, okay, if we're gonna do it in October and we can postpone paying, then we're probably gonna do it. But we don't have to make the decision tonight.
No.
So, first week in August is okay to make the decision?
Yeah, well, like I said, I won't be here
Yeah.
Is the,
first week in August, but
Yeah.
when I
Is the
get
price
back,
gonna change
I'll get a
between-
decision made.
Say again, please?
is the price gonna change
No.
between now and then?
The price is already, did you put it on the website?
I haven't touched the website.
You.
It's all updated, Jim.
No, the price for the amnesty day, what they're gonna charge us for the dumpster.
Oh,
and all that.
no. The only price increase I was talking is what we have to change our pricing.
For
Our
drop-off
pricing
stuff,
is
yeah.
way low compared to other towns,
Right.
so we had to
Yeah,
increase the
especially
price.
tires. Have you gone to Fitzwilliam to get rid of a tire? I know what we charge for trail truck tires, it's not much. Couple bucks.
Yeah, $3, I think.
You know Fitzwilliam's 55.
55 bucks, you can buy a tire for that.
I know, well that's what, we had a trailer at State Line, we said, we'll go down to Fitzwilliam, we'll get rid of it.
Oh,
So we
gosh.
loaded a trailer, we had 100 tires, of course we're trail truck shop. Guy's like, that's like 10 grand. We turned around, we brought it back, called a tire shop. Had a guy come out of Middlebury, Vermont, paid $4 tire.
Wow.
We're gonna find, if we go up that much, we're gonna find more and more tires on the side of the road.
I'm not saying it's a good idea, but it's massive difference, just to give you an idea.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
even appliances are a huge difference.
Okay, any further discussion on Amnesty Day?
No.
Barbara, you have anything else?
No, thank you.
Curtis, you have anything?
No.
Okay. Kyle?
I think I'm good.
All right. Robert? Bob? Norm?
Mr. Williams on Brad Hunter now that he has an excavator on the lot and getting ready to dig.
His building permit still has not been approved, he has yet to drop off any paperwork.
So does he have the right to be over there digging, just putting in the garden?
Is he actually digging, or?
He's got the
Oh, he
machine,
is?
he put it down back in the property, he's getting ready to.
Oh, he hasn't dug yet, though.
He's messed up the ground with the bucket.
Well,
As for digging, depending on,
Until the digging reaches a definitive shape, like i.e. the shape of a cellar,
Right.
nothing we can do.
Right.
And then he's gonna need an excavation
Permit, you need an excavation permit.
Right.
or excavation criteria to make sure he meets that.
Just messing up the ground with the bucket doesn't require a permit.
Right. Right now it's a lawn ornament.
Right. Yeah, okay. Anything else, Norm?
In the meeting of the minutes, there was just a little paragraph of what Brad sat in front of that tape recorder in line, talking about that he talked to the attorney and you called the attorney and he didn't talk to the attorney. That I mean, he ran on audio wise with his teeth. What'd you say? You had three of them that you know that he's just talking shit.
Well, minutes are not intended to be
Why is he not
complete.
putting text? I mean, for listen, just to put that you know, he poor Brad feels like he has to jump through hoops to get a building permit. Whoopee. I think the town people should be able to read, you know, when he makes threats about costing the town of Troy hundreds of thousands of dollars and threatening to sue if he doesn't get a permit. There's a lot of people in this town that don't do the audio stuff.
Yeah.
They have to read black and white. So,
Well-
I mean, did Alissa feel that was not
Well,
important?
I don't know about that. That's only, I mean, he was verbal.
Yeah, let me just
verbalized.
answer.
Okay.
Minutes of a meeting. The only thing that's required in there is members of the public body who are present, members of the public who speak at the meeting, motions that are made and votes that are taken. Anything else is just fluff.
And not required by law
Right.
to be recorded.
So we're not going to go in and add stuff to the minutes or amend the minutes to add stuff that's not required.
Waste of time.
Anything else, Jim?
I'm good.
Alissa? Okay. Move to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 7:53 PM.